So today is 4th January 2021. So we have completed a light version of event management, and we will be doing more in detail about event management soon in few days. Today we'll start with NodeJs API and how to use it in React using Axios package. Okay, so this is what we will do. Okay, so for that, first we'll build the NodeJs API, a backend API without any database, just a simple API to have the REST call like get, post, put, and delete. So these few methods we will build in Node.js application, and then we will utilize it in the React. So this is what we will be doing it. So this is the project, though this is not the very complete, you can call complete project, but it is something, a light version of our project. We'll work more on this soon after we are done with the Axios one, this part. So if you see our code structure, we have everything for the React is inside the client folder, and everything in the Node.js part, like parseServer, it is in the index.js file. So anything we write in the Node.js part should be linked outside the client folder, and anything which is in the React part will be inside the client folder. Since we have to build API in Node.js, we will be using outside the client folder. You can build the API in any backend language like PHP, Coldfusion, .NET, Java, or Node.js. Nowadays, Node.js is very popular, so we will be building everything in the Node.js. I won't be using any database for this, just a simple backend API which will do all this stuff. So for that, to create a backend API, we have to create different routes. So right now, if you see in the index.js, there are different routes. Parse is one route, public is another one, dashboard is another URL, test is another route, and there are other routes inside our client folder for the React application. So for our purpose, I'll be building a different route, and when I go to the particular URL, I will be calling that route. So for example, if I call test, in 1338, since the server is running at 1338 port, if I put test, so we are going one of the one of the routes. I think it's 1337. Let's check what is the path. It's 1337. Okay, let's go to the test. Okay, so this is provided by our test page, which I built in the test.html. So let's create few more routes for our other purpose. So to build the route, we have to create one folder, and I'll name it as routes. So this is not necessary you put the name routes. You can put any name. You can put the file anywhere in the application, but I'm just preferring to put it in the routes folder. So here I'll create one file. I can name it anything. For today I'll name it as example routes.js. So I'll name this as example routes.js, and here I have to write few statements to make it work as a route. So first thing, I need to call the express, and I'll name it as express. Second thing which I need is router, which will come from the express. It is called express.Router. So after these two lines, I will export this router. I'll say module.exports equal to router. So if you remember, in React we generally use export constant and the name of the constant equals to some variable name. This is how we do in the React, but in Node.js we don't do like this. This will not work. We have to use the module.exports, and whatever object or function or array or string we can provide it here. So this will be exported outside this file. So this is the basic structure of the route is this. So anything, if we want to create a route, these three lines are mandatory. So let's write on these three lines. So to create route, we use following. Three lines. So this is the basic three lines. We will add more lines. Express is not mandatory to use with Node.js, but a lot of things become easier because it has inbuilt things to do. So people use Express. Otherwise, routing will be little complicated. We can do routing also, but with Express, it becomes easier to do the routing and all other stuff. So right now, it's not kind of mandatory, but everybody uses it. It's kind of non-forced mandatory. Generally, people use Express also only. I haven't seen any Node.js application without Express, because this is a very useful utility, and without this, a lot of things has to be built yourself. Okay, so now I have to call this express in my index.js, this example route in my index.js. So here I will create few more lines to call my example.js. I will be creating more routes. For example, I will be creating, for example, if I want to upload the stuff, so I'll be creating upload routes.js, or if I want to create email stuff, so maybe I can say I will call mail routes.js. I will be creating more routes I want. Let's say anything related to parseServer, I may be putting in the parse routes. So there are few more routes I will be building in future. So for today we will be doing the example routes only. So let's call this example routes in index.js. So here, first thing I'll say, constant example routes is equal to, I'll require that file. So I'll say require dot slash in the routes folder. I will use example routes. So I just called the file which I just created it in my index.js file. Now I will use this file using the following command, app.use. Now here I have to mention the path which I will be using, for example routes, and then second parameter will be example routes. Now what is the path which I want to give here is up to me. I can say if I type /example, I should be going inside this example variable, or I can use something different, blah 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 blah. So if I put this in the URL, it will go inside this example routes. So for our case, I will be creating all the routes with the path structure as follows. It is up to you how you build in your application. You can build in any way you would like. So, but I will be using the following structure. I will say API /example. So anything if I type this in the URL, it will go inside the example routes. But since in the example route I haven't created anything yet, so it will not work now till I create some routing or path here. So there, though I put example URL, it's saying cannot get API example, because I have to build path like this inside my example routes. After I build the path in this, I will be able to use this path. So let's build one of the path here. So I'll go in the example route. So now the REST API we can use get, post, put, delete. So to create a route, we will use router, that is this variable dot get, and it has two parameters. One is the path which you have to give. Say, let's say I give the path of /, and inside, and next will be the arrow function or a normal function. You can use anything. I prefer arrow function, and it will accept three parameters. First is called request, next is called response, and third is the next. This next is not used in our practical cases, so I will remove the next part. I will use only the two, request and response. And inside this arrow function, I can say response dot send, and I can put anything. For example, done. So now whenever I go to this path API example, it will go to this / path first and reply with the string variable called as done. So for example, if I refresh this page, it's saying done. Because I built this done, inside my example route. That is the reason when I go in the browser API example, which is mentioned in the index.js file, I can use the done here. So let's try to put one more. So generally we don't give the text one, we generally pass the JSON response. So I'll build an array JSON object, JavaScript object, which will be rendered as a JSON object. So for example, I can say x equal to 1, y equal to 2 as an object. And then when I refresh the page, you will see it is giving me the object, JSON object. Generally, we always pass the JavaScript object, which is kind of JSON object, which rendered as a JSON object in the browser. So if I want to add one more get, I can say hello. For example, I give another path called as hello. And when I go, I should not write hello here like this, because all the paths which are in the example route has to be prefixed with whatever we provided here. So hello should not be like this. It should be after API example, I should put hello. So then I will get this one. Let's add one more here for D3 to distinguish between these two. So now I have 3 for the hello. So this is how we will build different API stuff, and then we will call Axios to call this backend API. So this backend API is created by the backend developer, and as a React person, you can use this backend API. But sometimes you have to do both the job. Then you can create your backend stuff also, and in the React you can call this stuff. So here I will be creating different routes. So one is the get route. Second will be to insert a new record, we use the post request. So here I will be creating post request for new records, inserting the new records. Then I will be creating put request for editing a record. This is a get request. I will create one more get request to get particular record. So let's say there are multiple records. I have to access only the particular record. I'll be using another get. And if I have to use all the records with my memory, I will use this get request to get all records. Then we will be using the post request for new records. put request for editing the record, and last will be the delete request for deleting the records. I will be creating a variable which will hold array of my all the records. So it will be results, which will be the array. And whenever I will add the record in this array. And whenever I will edit in this array. Whenever I will delete in this from this array. So here when I go to the all records, I will say a JSON object. In the JSON object, I will say success equal to true. That means everything gone good, everything is fine. And I will pass this array of the results. While creating JavaScript object, I can say results equal to results. That is, the key is also this, value is also this. But if both are same, I can skip the value and I can only write results. So when I say results, it means the key is also results and value is this variable results. Now let's take the GET request. So I got this results as an array which I have here. So whenever I want to see all the record, I will use this GET call. It will give me all results. I will also be using one more package that is called UUID. This is for unique ID, and if I have not installed it, I will install it in my terminal. So I'll use npm install UUID save. This is to get the unique ID, and I will be using in my project. So till it gets installed, we'll try to put post request, that is the add record, in the table. Now generally if it is a post request, if it is a GET request, I can directly go into the browser and see the results. But if it is a post request or put request or delete request, it is not possible to see directly in the browser. So we need some REST client. So there are different kind of REST clients available. One of the REST client is called Insomnia. Okay, I'll write down here. So you have to download this application to work on the REST client. There are other client also. Some are the Chrome extension, and some are in the plugin in this Visual Code Studio, and you can use any one of them. So for example, so this is the Insomnia client one. I downloaded it in my machine. So you can also download it, and I'll show you how it works now. So I will create a folder. Create a folder. So let me create a folder called class, and everything which I will do here will be inside this class. So first request I will be creating is the get one which I built, get all. I'll name it as get all, and it is the get request. Here you see get, and I'll say create. In the get request, I have to put the URL here, which is this one, and I'll put the URL here. And as soon as I put send, you will see I'm getting success equal to true and results equal to empty array, because currently my array is empty. I see the results as an empty array. So let me create one post request, and then with the help of this Insomnia, we'll be calling the post request. This Insomnia is used for development purpose. Otherwise, you will be writing the REST client in our React application, and we will do that also. So this Insomnia is for development purpose, but for real purpose, we will be using Axios or Fetch API from React application. So this is how we will be doing the React one, but for learning purpose or for understanding purpose, we will be using Insomnia. Okay, let's go and build the post request. So the post request, we will be starting with the router.get or router.post. I'll say router.post. Since it is a post request, I will be using router.post. And here I will give the path. What will be the path of the post request? It should be add. I will say add is the path of the post request. I can also remove the add. I can also give the slash for the post request. Since this is a get request with the slash and this is a post request with the slash, both are different method name, so it is fine. Okay, so either so I can put the same path. So I'll say request and response. And I want to add now, add the variable here inside the my result one. I'm using UUID. So to use the UUID, I'll be using like v4, and it should be called as UUID v4. So the v4 is a variable coming from this require UUID, and I'm renaming it to UUID v4. I can rename it to anything, blah 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 blah. But for the better understanding, since it is v4, I will be using UUID v4. And to use it, I can use that like this: console.log UUID, and I will say as a function call. So if I want to see this one, I'll go to the terminal where my Node.js is running. So you will see this is the UUID generated. Okay, so that is the UUID is generated. So I will be using this post request to get the data, and I will be adding that data inside my array. Now to use the post data, we need to install few packages here in this node application, and we have to call here. One of the package which we have to use is called as bodyParser, and it will require a package called as bodyParser. So if we don't have this bodyParser, I will installing this bodyParser also. I also need one of the more package called as const package, and I'll be installing that package also called as const package. So these two packages are needed to go further. So let me install these two packages. I will also install Axios because Axios will be used soon, but that Axios will be used in the client side. So I'll be installing in the React side, but sometime I may also be using it on the server side. So I will install that also here. So I'll install bodyParser, I'll install const, and I'll install Axios. So it is getting installed here. We'll come back again after some time to see how it goes. So let us first use this bodyParser and const in the application. So here I will be adding anywhere I can add. I will say add first. I'll use the const. I will say app.use, and I'll say const as a function call. What is the exact use of const? I will not tell you today. I'll tell you in tomorrow or day after tomorrow when the time comes. Let's use the bodyParser app.use bodyParser.json, and also I will use app.use. So this is from the document of the bodyParser, bodyParser.urlencoded extended equal to, let's put extended equal to false. So this is two things given by bodyParser, how to use it. These options we will see some other time. Just today you have to remember that you have to use these two lines as it is, like this. I have put it here. So these two lines are important. We have to add like this. So in the index.js, I have to call these two lines, and then I have to use these three lines like this one. So regarding the detail of this, we will go some other time. Today we just want to use how to use it kind of thing, but sometime in future we will go into the detail of this const and bodyParser and how we are doing it. Okay, so this one is something to use it. So if we don't put these two, just remember our API will not work. We need this for our API to work. Okay, these three are installed. So now before going further, I just want to see what is coming in the request. So here I'll say console.log of request. And I will also say response.send. Right now just I will pass this same thing what I have here. So here we have to add the record in the results, but right now I just want to see what is coming in the request, and then I will add that request inside my array. So now let's take what is coming. Okay, so I will go in my Insomnia. So I created this first request as a get. I will create another request here as a post. Add record request. You can name it anything and use the post here. And once you use the post, you have to use the body, how you want to use it, the body. So if you are uploading something, like uploading the file, you have to use the multi-part form. If you are submitting the form as we do in olden days, HTML form, we have to use the form URL encoded. If you are using GraphQL, you have to use the GraphQL part. But since we are using the JSON, we will be using the JSON in all our application. I'll be using the JSON part here. Then I'll say create. So once it is create, I have to put the URL. So what will be the URL? It will be same this one. So here is the JSON part. I have to write something JSON which I have to post it in this page. So for example, I'll say, I'll create JSON. I'll say, so for example, I'm doing the task, to do task. So I'll say task equal to go to grocery store. Okay, so this is the task. I just want to add one field. I don't want to go for more than one field, but I can add as many fields as I want. I can put description. I can put anything in this, or I can put user ID. Okay, let's put user ID also. So for example, my user ID is John. Okay, just putting the user ID. So if I post it, you will see the output is same because I give the output same here. But I have to see what is there in the console.log. So let's take the console.log to see what is coming inside here. So let me open the terminal. So this is my terminal. I'll go to the first one where I have my node running. So if you see this data, lot of data is coming as a request. So this lot of data is coming as a request. And I'm not concerned with all this except the one which I like. So I'm concerned with this body part. See, the data which I pass is here in the body part. So I'm concerned with this part, and sometime I'm also concerned with this params and the query part. Rest all things are there which is not useful to me at this moment. So I'll just put here to see what is body, request.body. I also want to see query. So if I want to see the query, I can say request.query. And third thing will be params. Request.params. So these three things are really useful to me. Rest all things are not useful. So let's try to post it again. I posted it again. You will see I got the body, I got the query, I got the params. So if I want to know what things should come in the query, I can put here in here as question mark x equal to 1 and y equal to 2. If I pass this as a question mark, whatever X and Y goes, it will be captured in the query part. I'll send it. So you will see now query is coming X equal to 1, Y equal to 2. And body is coming whatever I put here in the JSON part. I can also get this param part if I pass something here as /123 for example. So this 123 will go as a params. But to access this params, I need to modify my path. So instead of post slash, I will say /:id. So as soon as I say :id, now here it should be 123. So 123 will go in the params with the variable name of id. So right now if I try again, send it, you will see the params is going as id equal to 123 because I put :id here and I'm passing a variable 123 here. So all this can be accessed using the params. All whatever in this JSON part is there can be accessed using the body. And if I would have not used this body parser, I would have not been able to get this body. So to get this body, we have used the body parser. So now in this example, I don't need this ID part. And so I'll remove this ID part. I'll just send like this. Okay, we have to restart again. I have to send it again. Can't connect to the server. Okay, let me restart this one. Let's see if we are getting this. Okay, get is fine. Okay, post is fine. So now I'm getting the body also, but I don't need query and params in this case. So we will concentrate only on the body part. So this body part, I will put it in the result, but to make it unique, I will use this UUID to create the ID also. So what I will do, I will create one object called as constant. I will say constant object equal to, it will be the object, and I will take everything what is coming inside the body by passing it as a spread operator, and then I'll say ID equal to UUID v4 as an function. So I will take the body and I will add the ID part to make it unique. Let's console.log this object. So let me check what is there in the object. Now I'll try once more. Okay, as soon as I submit, you will see the object is whatever I put in the task and user ID. I am also getting this ID, which I added it here. With the help of UUID, I will edit and delete this record. So it makes my job easier. So I put this ID here. Now I want to I want to put this result object inside the results one. So I'll just say results dot push object. So I'm putting this object inside the results, and now we'll see here. So as soon as I click submit, the object is inserted inside the results, and I'm getting the results as an object with first element is whatever I put it here. So let's put another task. Go to gym. For example, go to gym. User is same. Okay. So second will come as a go to gym. And previous one also there, and I have added another task. Let's add one more. Go to college, for example. Now I have 3 records here. Go to grocery store, go to gym, and go to college. Each one having the unique ID. Now if I go to get all, previously it was coming empty. Now if I call it again, I am getting all the results back here. Whatever I added it is here. I'll delete all this console thing. So this add part is done. We got the data, we add it in the result, and we are displaying that to the user. So this is what we are showing it. So maybe I don't want to show all the results in the add part. I just want to show the object which you posted it. So I'll just put object rather than results. I just want to see what I just posted. Now let's try. Now since I restarted the server, this array is resetted to empty array. Now if I call the get one, it is empty array. So let me add this one. So right now I am only seeing the current object which I am posting it. I can post another one, gym. I can see only the current one which I am posting it. But when I go to get all, I am getting all. So now I will add one more path for the get one, and here it will say router.get. So I just want to see only the one record which I am passing this ID. So I want to pass the ID, and I want to see only the record of that ID. And here I'll create arrow function. Request and response, and here, so just I want to show only the one ID. That means I have to go into the results, all the values, and I have to match the ID with the ID posted it in the results. So how to do? First, how will I get the ID? So to get the ID, I will use constant ID equal to request.params.id. Since I am passing here, I won't get ID in the body. I will be getting in the params. Then what I'll do? I will create a variable name called as result, and I'll go through all these results using the filter command, and filter as arrow function. And here will be item. So if there are 10 records, it will go to all 10 records, and each time it is called the item. And here I will match this ID with the ID in the item. If both are matching, I will return true. So here I'll say return this ID if it is equal to the ID in the item.id, then return true. So it will become true, it will be returned true, and if it is true, I will get the result with this item, whatever item I have. So for example, I'll just do console.log here. So to see what is the ID here, and here I will say console.log item is item. So if the item is matching, item's ID is matching with the ID which I pass, it will return true, and I have something I will be in this variable called as the result variable. So let me console.log this result variable also. And then I'll just right now send response.send done. For example, I'm just doing it temporary. I will change it to the JSON object soon. Okay, now let's try something. Now if I pass, first we have to post something. Go to gym, send, go to college, send, go to market, send. So I did 3 record. If I use the get all, I'll get all the 3 records here. Let me create one more request called as get one. It is a get call, and then I will here copy this URL, put it this URL, but here I will pass the ID. Okay, so what ID I have to pass, I'll check the ID here. So maybe I'll pass this ID, for example, college one. So let me pass this college ID here, and I'll click the send. Though right now I'm getting done, but let's see what is there in the console.log. You will see ID which I'm passing is this. This is the ID. And then we have all the item, because it will loop through all the item. Filter will loop through all the results, and each result will be the item. So each time I'm going the item. And each time I'm checking this item.id, if this ID is equal to the ID which is passed. So in the first case, it is not passed. So I don't concern. In the second case, I get the match. But it will go to third case also. And then, since it got a match with the second one, we get the result with the second one, that is go to college. And remember, this result is an array also. Okay. And if I pass something which is not available, for example, if I pass ID which is not there, you will see result is coming as empty array. Okay, but if I pass something which is available, then I will get result of that value. So I'll remove the console.log. Let me remove this also. Now here I will pass object, JSON object with success equal to true, and I will say result. So if I get this result, so if I'm not passing anything, you will see that if I'm not passing anything, I'm getting an empty array. So here I have to return something. So for example, I'm returning this object. Result is an object. I cannot pass the result as a result because this result is an array and I don't want array, I want object. So here I will create another one called as constant object, and it will check if result is there and result dot length is greater than 0. That means something we got in return. Then I'll do the ternary operator and I'll say give me the result of first value, that is the 0 number. Otherwise give me empty object. So this object will check if result is there and we have the something inside this result, that is some value is there in the result. I will pass this result 0, that is the first value, because we have seen the result is coming in an array and the 0th element is the one which I am concerned with. So I will be passing this 0th element, and if I don't get this one, I will just pass the empty object and I will return this one. So let's take this here. So once again I have to post it because server got restarted, all my data is gone. So I'll add one record, I'll add another record, go to college. And if I go to get all, I will see I have both the records. And I'll take one of the record ID. I'll take this ID and put it inside the get one. And I'll click send. Once I send, I will get the result with the go to college, which I have selected it. But if I don't get match, then I'll get the empty object. So, or I can give null. That is nothing is there. It's better to give the null. So here I'll get the record. Okay, since it got restarted, I get the null. Because it got restarted, I have to add it again. So let's take this ID and go to get one. Since I have that ID, I get the result. But if I pass something which does not exist, I'm getting the null. So this is how we add the record, and we get one record and we get all the record. So same thing we will do edit and delete. Edit and delete also. It is quick one. I'll just do it quickly. So let me copy this part of the get part, and instead of get I will using put. So when I use put and I'm passing the ID, that means the ID which I'm passing, I want to update that request. Whenever I want to do update, I will using the put request, and here I have to pass which request I have to edit it. And same thing I will do. This part I will fix it in a bit. Let's copy this again for the delete one, and here I'll say delete. So since I'm passing the method delete, so no one will clash with one another. So this delete will do the delete part, and since using put, though the URL is same, but it will do the different purpose. So let's quickly do the edit part. Here only I have to do when the result has some value. If result is 0, the result does not have any length, I don't want to edit anything. So I will say in the put part, if results dot length is greater than 0, then only do something, otherwise don't do. Otherwise I will just return response.send. Here I'll create the object success equal to true, and I'll just pass the results. Or I'll just set success equal to true. to show that something has happened. And same thing I'll do with the delete part. If result is greater than 0, then only I will delete it. Otherwise, I don't need to delete it. So now to delete, to edit it, we have to edit it, we have to do the following steps. Get the ID which we want to delete, which we want to edit. Okay, so we have to get the we have to edit the, we have to get the ID. Second step will be create a new object based on posted data. So some data we will be posting it because we want to edit it. That means we will be posting some new data. So we have to create a new object based on the posted data. Next step will be get the index which we want to edit. So we have to get the index which we want to edit. For example, if we have, so for example, our results is like this. So this results is an array and it has object in it. For example, object is ID equal to 1, task equal to do 1, and I will be having multiple things. ID is 2, do 2. So I want to get the index which I want to delete, which I want to update it. So for example, if I want to update this second part, so I will take the index of this. What is the index of this? Index of this is 0, index of this is 1. So I'll get this index that is called 1. Get index 1. That is the second record if I want to edit that one. So I have to somehow, I got the ID, but based on the ID, I have to somehow get the index which I want to update it. We have done this already in our crude operation, but I'm just repeating the same thing. And then using the splice function of the JavaScript, I will remove the old record in same index which I found here, that is the 1, and replace it with this object. Replace it with new object. So the position of that edited record will be same. ID will be the same. Only thing, the task will be updated with the different task because we are editing it. So these are the steps. Let's do quickly all the steps. So first is get the ID. So I'll say constant ID equal to request.params.id. Next we have to create the object, new object. So if you see the add one, we are getting this request.body. So based on this request.body, I will be creating the new object. So I'll say constant new object equal to, so I'll take the request.body because that is the consisting of my new updated value, and I will use the ID which is same as this one. So I can say ID equal to ID, but since both are same, I'll be using only ID. So I got this new object. Now I want to get the index which I want to update. So here I will use index equal to, I will say results, that is this results. There is a method called as find index, it will give the index of the matching record, and here it will be the arrow function. So here it will go through each of the results in the array and return the index if we have the matching criteria true. So here I'll say item. So for each item, it will go through each item, and here I have to return item.id is equal to id. So if the item.id is matching with the id which I have passed it, then it will give the index of that one. And if it does not match, it will give index equal to -1. So here I can say if index is greater than or equal to 0, it should be greater than or equal to the 0. Because if it is -1, that means it does not find the match one. So if we get index greater than equal to 0, then I will update it. What I will update it? This results. So how to do that update part? I will using splice function. So I'll say results.splice. So from which index I want to delete? From the index which I got here, this one. How many records I have to delete? One record. And I have to replace with what? I have to replace with the new record, that is this one. So the third parameter will be this one, new object. So the results is updated with the new object, which is this one. I will put console.log at each step to see what is going on. And then so this is how I put each step, console.log at each step. Let's try to do it example so you can see how it's going on. Let's do quickly, only one record I will do, and I will update one record. So let me add the record. So I got the record here. If I go get all, I'm getting all the records. Right now there is only one record. Get one. I will see if get one is working fine. So I'm getting get one record. Now I'll create one more new request that is called as put edit record request, and I'll be using the put one with the JSON body. I'll create this one. So it will be of the same format as I have this URL with the same format, and the content will be like this. So previously it was go to college. I will change it to market. So let's first see get all again. So I have to go to college. Now if I go to put in edit record, put edit record, and I put this data, I put this ID, and I'll say send. So it is showing success. Now let's take that one here. If you see the ID here, which is matching here, this ID, and I have the new object which is go to market, because I put this go to market, and it is taking the ID which is nothing but the ID which I had is here. I'm getting the index 0, so it is good. Whatever, it should be greater than 0 or 0, and the final result is I get the go to market. Now if I go to get all, I'm getting go to market. Let's say if I want to edit again, I'll go to gym. I got success. Let's go to get all, and I'm getting go to gym now. Now if I want to get one, I'm getting go to gym. So we successfully updated the record. I'll remove all the console.log. Okay, let's go do quickly the delete one, the last one. So it will be having first line same. We want the ID, which I want to delete it. This is the ID. Then I want the index, which I want to delete it. So I will copy the index part. So I got the index in the same way I got edit one. Now I want to delete. In the edit, I just use the splice. Same thing I'll use with the delete, but I'll not add the new object. I will only use the splice with first two parameters. So I'll remove the new object because I just want to delete it. So it will start with the index and delete one item. And that's all. That's all about the delete one. Let's create the new one for the delete one. I'll copy the URL. So let me create a new request. With the method of delete. And I'll just pass the URL and delete it. Right now this one does not exist. So we are just deleting nothing. So let's try to add one more again. And I have this record with this ID. Let's see the get all. So I'm getting this get all. Let's try to see the get one. I'm getting get one. Now let's try to delete this one. We got success. Now if I go to get all, I'll get empty error because it is deleted. So we deleted, edited, got one record and added it using the simple array manipulation. So generally we do in the backend, we do same thing every time. This is the crude operation for everything which we do every time. When we have the MySQL, we instead of the empty array, we will be using MySQL. If it is MongoDB, instead of this one, we will be using MongoDB. And if I want to use the parseServer, instead of the empty array or adding an array, I'll be using the parseServer to add it or edit it or delete it. So to create Node.js application, right now we have used array to add, edit, delete, or get one record, or get all. So we can do same thing with the MySQL, same thing with MongoDB, same thing with parseServer. So the operations will remain same: get, post, put, delete. Only the manipulation part will be different. So this manipulation part will be from MySQL or Mongo or parseServer, but this URL will remain same. So this was a simple example of Node API. And once you complete all these three parts, MySQL, Mongo, and parseServer, that means you are done with the complete Node.js backend, because in any application, either of these three things are required for the database manipulation. So the cookie part is called as authentication. which we will do sometime later. It's a big, it will take 2-3 days to do that authentication part. That part I will do when time comes, because once we are done with this, I will add JWT authentication on top of it. So we have to add JWT authentication, or I said the cookie part, right? Either of these two. So these two actually go hand to hand with the client also. That is in the React client. We have to build in the React client also, and Node.js as a backend. So we will be writing, this is on the top of the real API. So we'll do this also in few days. I'm not saying tomorrow or day after tomorrow, because I have to build an example for you to show that thing. So right now I don't have that example, but I will be creating it in few days, and I'll show you that example. So once I'm ready with the example, I'll go through these two topics also. So give me a couple of days for me to build that example. Okay. Now, but we will do one thing for our feature one. So if I go to parseServer, so here you can see there is a role. Let me delete all the roles. Okay. So let me create one role, and then okay, so I created one role, administrator, and I can add any n number of users inside this administrator, and then that role I can assign to that role. Whenever I create the new record, I will allow that this role should be able to edit or delete also. Then he will be able to edit and delete. So right now, just I created the administrator role, and I will add one user in the administrator role. For example, I will add, okay, let's add this one. Okay, so let's add this user in the admin role. So something, we can build this whole thing in the UI also, but that will take a lot of time. And if you want, we will do it in future. But right now, these things are, already given, which we don't need the UI for that. We can add it here, and then we can, later we can. So role management is here. I don't want to build the role management in my UI, because I am the admin of my website. I can do role admin here directly here in this layout. Okay. So here I am using attach existing row. So if I go to this role, you will see who are the users in this role. This is the user in this role. And then whenever I create a post, I will assign this role to be able to edit and delete the record. Then in addition to the user who created the record, this user also will be able to edit or delete the record. Next thing is something, let's say if you are creating the group, the exact application I will build example. I don't have that example right now, but I'm just giving you the high level So let's say if you have a group or course, and the course is the course 1 and the course 2. So you can create two roles, one as the course 1 and course 2. Let's create the course 1 and course 2. So this is a course 1 and the course 2. So I created the course 1 and course 2. Now you create one screen, or manually you can go, if it's your website, you can add user directly here, or otherwise you have to build the application to add user in this role. So for example, if you can go and take any user, so you can go and take the user and put it in the role of the course 1. You can keep comma separated n number of users. So if I go to the course 1, I have this user. If I go to the course 2, I had no user yet. Okay. So now, whenever you create a content for the course 1, you have to give permission of the read and write of the role course 1. So now when I create any new record, let's try to go into the add page. I'm not giving you the detailed one, I'm just giving you the high level, because we have to build that thing. Right now I have not built kind of thing, but I'll give you the idea. So now whenever you add the record and you have assigned that user to this course 1. So how will you assign the user? Directly go into this management panel and add it. But if you want people to add into this course 1, then it's a big project. You have to build this role management and allow user to add the user in this course 1. Otherwise, if it is your website, just go in here and add the user for the course 1 and course 2. And when we are adding the record, you have to say instead of this ACL, we have to just allow only the user who is in that role. So I can say ACL dot set role read access, and you have to give the role name course 1 true, and same thing role write access. So who can edit it? You have to just mention it. So maybe if you want edit part should be only by admin, then you can give the write part to administrator. But if you want whoever is this user, he can edit it also. So you can give this one. So once I get the read access, whoever has this course 1 users, whoever are in this course 1 will be able to view it. All other will not be able to view it. So like this, you have to change the permission. And if you want write access to be only by the person who created it, so you can give the user for that write access. So write access will be to the user who created it. He can only edit and delete it. And the role read access, and who can read it? Only the people who are in this course. So this is a high level kind of thing. You can use the role purpose. So you start building it, and if you get problem, then ask me, then I will be better able to help that part. Okay, because it's a big thing. I cannot explain the whole thing. If you do start doing, you got the high level idea, and once you build it, I will be more helpful to help at that time, because otherwise you will be lost. I can say 10 more things, and that will, you may not be able to use it in your project. So as soon as you will do, we can see how it goes. So we are done with the Node.js part, backend part in this example one, which we can get, post, put, and delete. Tomorrow we will create the Axios project in the client to utilize this one. So we will using the Axios Ajax library to utilize this backend API. That's it for today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.